Hey everyone. So this is Donna Savage with Talk with Savage Desires. And tonight we have beautiful, amazing, sophisticated Maxine Choi with me tonight. There she's blushing. I just welcome Maxine.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for having me.
How are you? Just
I'm good, thank you. Good to be on
uh,
your show finally.
there's lots more to come, girl. Lots more to come.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
think
my
yeah, I don't think I've ever been on your show before.
No,
This is
you
great.
haven't. This is the first time we're going to be going deep. So
Yes.
before
And,
we start the
and
show,
look
I will.
and look what I
Oh,
got.
oh, hey girl, look, sparkling water.
This is sparkling yellow water.
Girl, I hear you. Wink, wink. So before we start, I want to give a shout out to all the entrepreneurs, all those persons and people out there doing their thing. And Maxine and I know how it goes. So shout out to you. And if you're on the live, just let me know and I'll definitely shout you out as well. So tonight, Maxine and I, and whoever's watching the show, we're going to be talking about people pleasing. And I know so many people are people pleasing. And this is a huge topic because it definitely can play with our psyche. You know, so but
Yeah.
before we dig in, Maxine, just tell us a little bit about who is the beautiful Maxine.
Oh my. Thanks, Donna. Thank you for having me on the show and being able to speak on this platform because I've been watching your show and I see what it's all about. And I think it's great that you have this like a fluid conversations and different types of people. So thank you. So my name is Maxine Choi. I'm a health and nutrition coach. That's my passion. What I do is I work with women 40s and up to help them achieve attainable health goals. And it's just really very simple, adapting a mindset around what you believe you can, and what you believe in yourself to be and what have you. And then, of course, being consistent and having the accountability. It's so important. So I do that. I provide coaching for women as well, just to help them with food plans, diet and exercise, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what I do.
That's in a little nutshell. Cause we know you do way more than that, but by
Yes,
the time, yeah, we'll definitely get into that as the night progresses, or even after. One,
exactly.
one of the reasons we decided to talk about this particular topic is I know Maxine that you struggle with saying no. I know in the past. I'm not sure how it is going now, and you know what? I was that same person. So when you talked about it, it just it rings a bell because it felt so familiar because we're always doing this person thing. So Maxine, what were you always a people pleaser? Always, or is this just a thing that you just picked up, decided to just pick up out of nowhere?
You know what? I think when I look back, Donna,
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
think that I was always a people pleaser from the age of like, oh my goodness, I'm going to say 5. Not that we have much memory of that, but I mean, growing up in Jamaica, when you're young, you're already pleasing. You're, I mean, you shut up, you don't say anything,
Speak when
right?
you're spoken to.
Right. So I think that morphed into my teenage life, right? I mean, I was, I grew up, like I said, we had strict parents, and I always had to please my parents. So I think that evolved into my friendships, and I actually wrote an excerpt in a book about that, how it all evolved, and not even realizing it. But and then some people actually overcome it and realize, no, I'm going to own up to my stuff, and I'm not going to let anybody walk all over me. And I
Hmm.
don't care what you say. I don't care what you feel about me. And people can get through it, but I just didn't get past that. Like I was in high school, I was just all about people pleasing.
Hmm.
When I started my career, oh my goodness, I was so subservient. I was so obedient, and I never spoke up. And I thought that if I spoke up, I would be fired or treated badly. It was just a disease.
So you're still battling with people pleasing, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, eh?
I've made
Okay.
some strides. Don't worry, I've made some strides.
As long as you mix, you know what's great about speaking and self actualization is that when we realize what's going on, we can work on it. So this is where we're going to
Yes.
make a choice to do it or a choice not to. But
Mhm.
obviously, you're speaking about it. That means you need to change things, and you know what, Maxine, you're talking about growing up in Jamaica and pleasing and shut up and don't say things and da 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 da, and people take away our identity from our child from for our
Yes.
children. And you're right, from the age of 5, right? Because before, we could do this thing, but if people are taking away our power, then what? Especially someone that you care and love about, just your parents or somebody
Yeah.
close to you. So I grew up the same way. Like, I'm always people pleasing, always, always. But I got to tell you though, I stopped people pleasing late, like maybe several years ago after marriage.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
you know what I mean? And that's a long time of marriage, and because it's mental abuse, right? And it's also a part of codependency.
Right. I mean, whether it's mental abuse, I don't know, because remember, we're people pleasing. Basically, we're saying we're not saying being able to say no. We're afraid of the rejection. We're afraid of them not liking us. So even if what they're doing is normal and we don't like it, we still say yes. So it may not be a direct abuse unless the person is actually taking advantage of that, right? So
But that's not what I meant when I said abuse. When I
oh,
said
okay.
abuse, I mean in terms of we are abusing ourselves, because
Oh, yes.
yeah. So because we want to say no, but because of how we're feeling, that we don't want to say no. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
the battle that's going back and forth. I'm not saying that, because probably they don't even know that they're doing it, but we're talking
True.
about ourselves, right?
Yeah, it is a
Um,
form of
it
self
is.
abuse. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So Denise is said, I used to be so proud of being an independent woman who don't care what people thought of me until I started therapy. I finally realized that I secretly was always a people pleaser.
Secretly realized.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's huge, because a lot of us go through that. 'Cause Maxine, I'm sure you did it too. I did it.
Oh, I did it.
We're always and not realizing that we're doing this because we want people to like us.
Absolutely. And it's just not being able to say no, afraid of what they would say. I
Hmm.
was very easily manipulated into anything. You tell me to do it and I'll do it because
Really?
yeah, because if it sounded like a great idea to you, I'd be like, yeah, 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 great idea. Or if it's
Hmm.
something that you didn't want to do and I wanted to do it, I'd be like, oh, I didn't want to do it anyway. I mhm.
So you're also, apart from that, you're also agreeable. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't think the only thing I'd probably say no to is
hmm
like I don't know, maybe I don't like a certain food like celery or something, but you know what I
hmm
mean. So and it wasn't to say that I didn't have a mind of my own. There are certain things that I really didn't want to do and I didn't, but for the most part, I would say that the things that I know, like now when I look back, the things that affected me emotionally and more emotionally were the things that I couldn't say no to. I couldn't say no to that person. Like, no, I don't like how you treated me, and you need to treat me this way. And like, I mean, that's I can't tell somebody how to treat me, but I didn't know how to
articulate
articulate
it.
it without feeling that they would look at me and say, "Who do you think you are? Like, what do you mean?" So I used to. So then it made me believe that I didn't deserve to be treated like a queen. I didn't deserve to be treated with such grace because I never spoke up in the first place. So then all of a sudden now I'm saying, I don't like how you treat me or whatever the case may be. And now all of a sudden I feel I have the right to this. It was just like too late. Like, I don't know, too little too late, too much too late.
Well, it's never too late to exhibit and say how you feel again about yourself. It's never too late. I believe that it's a step one foot ahead of the other.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if somebody said something to you, or anyone that's
Yeah.
on here, that you're uncomfortable with, I
Yes.
think it's our God-given right to say, listen, it's either no,
Mm-hmm.
or sit in peace and quiet for a couple minutes before responding. Because nowadays everything is always text. You know what I mean? Or voicemail. So, it's not normally a face to face. So, just don't answer right away. It's never too late to say someone that, I didn't like the way you made me, you treated me.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think that alone is therapy on yourself, that we're actually speaking up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to shout out to Banky and Kirk and Carol and Cat's Groove. Hi, everyone. Carol, I don't know if it should be something to change in regards to not pleasing people. I think we need to look at who we allocating our time and energy to. I'm a people pleaser, but I had to learn to whom I should be pleasing.
Mm. Interesting.
It is a very interesting concept, and I do agree with Carol. But the kind of job, I should say, or career that you take on, Maxine, and I know you're self-employed now. How is that treating you as a people pleaser? Because I mean, if you're going to say yes to everyone that comes to you, and I know it's not because of money, it's just because you don't want to say no. How do you go ahead and treat a situation like that?
Mm. I still struggle with that a little bit, to be honest with you. And you're right. It's not about the money. It's about disappointing that person. Because if they came to me for help and I wasn't able to, I feel like I would turn away somebody who really needed my help. Or if it was like for my services, I would try to please them in ways to either reduce my fee or offer it anyway at sort of like quasi type of free. It's weird. I mean, I sometimes I have to resort to a really trusted friend of mine who would often give me some feedback as to how to deal with it because I literally cannot say no. And even I have to admit, even times when I've gotten the advice, I've gone back and just given, I just gave in because saying no for me is it's very difficult. Um, it means I'm shutting that person out. It makes me scared actually that they will not like me, and I don't know what that's all about. It's all about. It's like I don't feel comfortable not being liked. I feel that once I'm not liked, then you're going to be out to get me, and that's from a childhood thing. I think all the people pleasing and all the things that we're affected by stems from childhood. And I literally sit and think to myself, what happened in my childhood to make me be so afraid of confronting people? Like, even when I have a certain belief in myself or a certain belief in a situation or whatever, just my own opinion, I will just like back away and I'll keep it to myself. I don't like confrontation. I don't like arguing with anybody because I don't have the tools to argue. I'm a negotiator. I'm a problem solver. I'm a people pleaser. So it's very, very difficult for me to have confrontations and to say to somebody, no, I don't like this and I don't like that and you're not going to do this to me and I won't put up with this. No, that's very difficult for me. And no.
You said something earlier when you were talking about, you said get out to get me. What does out to get me means? Like, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. You see, like I said, childhood trauma. When I was growing up, um, there were times when I was being confronted by male and female to do something that I didn't want to do. And then when I said no, I was beaten and stoned and called names. And it just kept going. So, and that happened on a regular basis. So I think that as I grew up, I thought that's what would happen when I say no, 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 no. So then I decided that, okay, you come to Canada, it's a whole different ballgame. And when you come to Canada and you're a little girl and you're like in grade three, I was in grade three. I wanted friends. I wanted people to like me. I mean, I was this strange looking, not strange looking child, but I had a different look. I was very pale. I had freckles. I had red hair. It was big. A lot of hair. It was very, so I stood out. And because I stood out, people would always um, say something that was negative or like curious. So I think I wanted to just like fit in. I wanted them to just stop looking at my differences. And even black kids would think I was white, which is the weirdest thing for me. I was like, what are you talking about? And I say this because I grew up in elementary school and part of my high school being picked on. So I made sure to avoid disappointing anyone with any requests. And so to answer your question, it was more so if I said no, then you're going to start picking on me. You might do something. I don't know. I'm not thinking that they're going to stone me, but it's just like psychological trauma,
I was
childhood.
just about to say that you went through a lot of traumas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Maxine. Chetty, I'm not sure what Carol say is correct. what I believe to be true is that if you don't want to do something, you should have the right to say no if it's a loved one. Um, I hear what you're saying, Chetty, but you know what? Everybody believe and has their own opinion, and she think that's her opinion, that's her take on it, and then that's your take. Everybody way of looking at things are totally different. But
Right.
thank you for the comment, right? Everybody's thing, because I know for, and not because she's my sister. Um, Carol she's definitely changed now as saying no to family because it was always a yes.
Can
She
you
was
read? Sorry, can you read Chad's remark again? Sorry.
okay. I'm not sure what Carol say is correct. What I believe to be true is that if you don't want to do something, you should have the right to say no, even
Yeah,
if it's a loved one.
I agree with that.
Of course, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Me too. It doesn't matter. We're supposed to say no right across the board. But you know what? Carol was just talking about herself. Like it's harder for her to say no to family members.
yeah. And I
No?
can relate to that because that was very difficult for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Denise Lopez, I agree with you in theory, but we have to remember that women are socialized differently. As Maxine is talking about, we are raised to be good girls and not to be able to say no because it's a rude, etc. And you know what? You're right. We're raised to say no, but there's different ways of saying no.
yeah,
You know what I mean? As we become adult, we're now choosing the way to say no or the way to say, this doesn't make me feel comfortable.
yes,
As island girls, yes, we're all raised differently. And we were raised with a iron fist and the pointing of the finger, but never a solution. Don't do
right,
that. And if we say why, we can't even say why because I said so.
right. And
Right?
I want to add to that. So the fact, okay, we're raised in a certain era, back home in Jamaica, where
Era. It's so like,
well, we are like
yeah, I know.
let's
They
just
make
keep
me
it
so
real.
like we're getting old. Like, oh my God, era.
We'll keep it real for a minute because times have changed. Times have changed.
It is.
Children were seen and not heard.
Oh,
Now children are so
it's total different.
right.
Totally different.
And I know. Okay, so when I had my child, I was like, okay, she's gonna have a voice. I want her to be able to stand up for herself. I want her
Hmm.
to be able to know what's right and what's wrong and what she doesn't want. And I made sure to instill those in her because I didn't want her to walk around feeling that she can't say no, especially
Hmm.
if it's because I know it was so damaging for me, right?
Hmm.
Now, it's not to say that it hasn't backfired on me because my daughter, she is smart as a whip, and she will not let anyone walk over her. I'll give her that, trust me. So I feel confident that my daughter is going to be she's going to be a superwoman. I swear to God she is.
But that's the thing, and we were talking about that earlier on. I was if you weren't such a people pleaser, do you think you'd have gone further ahead in, let's say, your career, in your emotional stance, in your, like right around? How would you be if you weren't a people pleaser?
100%, I would have been a totally different person. I probably wouldn't even be sitting here in my space talking to you. I would have been wherever because I had aspirations of doing bigger things for my life.
Hmm.
I think I told you I'm multi-talented to the fact that it scares me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think because of my people pleasing, it crippled my ability to succeed. It crippled me. It made me not go after my dreams. I was going into journalism. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to do Entertainment Tonight. I wanted to be one of those people who go around and interview all the stars and go
Oh.
into people's homes. That was my aspiration, really. Um, but like I said, there are certain other things that I'm talented in, and I put them aside because I wanted to please other people.
It's
And
not
I'm
too late. Not too late, Maxine. Go on to people. I listen. I can say, oh, I know that girl. It's not too late, beautiful.
well,
It's not too
let's
late.
put it out in the universe because
Yeah,
I
well,
want to
let's put
be,
it out. And when two or more are gathered, to everybody that's on here, Maxine is going to Entertainment Tonight to start interviewing people.
or, or even on the social. I
Or
remember
the
one time
social.
I went to the social to watch the how you get to watch it in the
Yeah.
audience, and how
Yeah.
they usher you in. They usher you in, and the guy's got his thing on his head, and he's like, "Okay, ladies, come this way." And I said, "Oh no, I'm not sitting here in the audience. I'm actually on the stage." So he looks at me. He says, "You are right." I said, "Yeah, I'm just I'm over there." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." I was trying to put
Denise,
it out there.
he should have, pretend and play along with you. Maxine, Denise is agreeing with you. She says, "Yeah, we know better, as so we raise our children differently for sure, and that is for sure." I have four of them. I have four children, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest. For the first two, I was displaying my parents'
Mhm.
discipline. I
Yeah,
was playing my I mean, they're older now. They're 30 and 28. So, at that time, I didn't know any different. It's just like generation stories coming down. My mother raised us the way her mother raised us, and so forth and so forth.
absolutely.
And, as you get older and wiser and realize and being awake now, my second, my third, and my last one are totally different. They have
Mm.
a personality that would knock you out. You know what I mean? So you can see the difference in the iron fist,
Hmm.
and then let's flow and just freely do your thing.
Yes.
So I totally get it. So Maxine, what are you going to do in terms of stop people pleasing, because we have to fix this. We have to fix this because I want to see an entertainment tonight.
So, um, so the first thing I had to do was I had to have a coach,
Yes.
right? Um, and I relied heavily on that person because I realized that it's a disease, and there were times when I felt that I had overcome it because there were certain things I did, decisions I made to stop it, or to there were decisions I made in my life to get me out of that environment of the people pleasing, right? And when I got out of the environment, and I'm talking about my marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if everybody knows this, but I was married for I don't know how many years, and been separated. And then just during that time, even getting out of that environment, I allowed the person to control me from a distance. And I don't know if that's still a form of the actual people pleasing, but to me, I felt that I wasn't. I still was being affected by that, and I blame myself. So I just did my podcast a while ago on the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. I don't know if you saw that one, but my guest, we're talking about taking the responsibility for ourselves for what happened to us, because really and truly, I don't blame my ex for nothing. I don't. I blame myself, right? And we have to. We can't walk around and blame the person because you're a people pleaser or you're like, no, because it was all my fault. And I've had to forgive myself and learn how to cope. So in answer to your question about like what am I doing, it's a constant battle, and I will be. I'm always aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I come into a situation where I feel that I'm gonna give myself too much or over explain myself or having to justify, because that's how I am, right? I will say, wait a minute, you know, what was happening with me at the time when this happened?
Mm-hmm.
And and just evaluate how I was feeling and how I'm feeling, and then how do we respond to it? Like I really have to think about how I
Slow
respond to
to
it.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah, and also think about like my own feelings, like how it affected me. You know, am
Mm-hmm.
I thinking the person is attacking me? Am I thinking the person is controlling me? Am I feeling the person is being mean to me? Am I fearing what they're going to say to me? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a process in which I have to go
Mm-hmm.
through just to get through that. And I'm telling you, like, I'm not here to say, oh my goodness, I'm no longer a people pleaser. I'm free. I'm set. It is something that it's almost like it's just a disease, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It
So
is work, Maxine. I get it because I told you I was on that journey. I was a
yeah.
yes, yes, yes person,
Oh, I'm a
and
yes person,
yeah,
100%.
and then I go ahead.
I honestly, I think in the past couple of years that I've been trying to get out of it, I think I probably said no maybe four times. And I was like, I said no.
Yes.
Somebody just asked me to do something, and I said no.
It's like, you should treat yourself. You should reward yourself.
Yeah,
You should have trophies for those no's.
yeah.
Carol is saying, as a people pleaser, it takes a toll on you mentally if you're given to everyone. She said she had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I think Denise mentioned it as well. As women, we're pleasers.
For pleasers.
We are definitely pleasers, but then we have to reach the point that we have to differentiate. Are we going to be, it's our psyche or mentalness or somebody else. So I was going to ask you too, apart from coming out of that situation, right? And so now you're single, you're doing your thing. Do you find it's always the same persons that's coming to you asking you to do stuff or favors, or was just anybody right across the board?
Same person as you mean, like a man,
No, no,
or
no, no.
oh, okay.
Female business just coming to you and asking you to do me a favor. Maxine, can you do this for me? Maxine, can you do this for me? Just because you know you're going to always say yes.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like there's some people I don't mind saying yes to, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that I can't, and
Mm-hmm.
I still do it. Um, yeah, yeah, it's the same, and I think it's the energy I attract. I guess I don't know, but this pandemic has definitely been a game changer for me. I think
Also,
that oh because I mean, what it made me do is it made me stop and reflect on my own actions and my own um, thoughts, and it made me think about how I want things to be going forward. And in terms of
mm,
relationships with whether it's male or female, it has made me realize that um, my life is too short
yes,
to yeah
yes.
it's too short, and how do I expect to to progress and be happy if I'm going to be living behind the shadow of somebody because I want to please them,
Yes.
right?
Preach, Maxine. But it's true. Everything that you just said is
Yeah,
true.
I,
How
I
are
I
you going
live
to live
behind
your
the
everyday life?
shadows.
It's true.
Hmm.
We don't want to do that. We want to be front and
No,
center.
this is
Denise says she's reclaiming her time, and it's true. We
this is the
have
next stage in our lives. It's the next,
to.
yeah, it's the next stage in my life where, we're not going to stay this way forever. Somebody keeps saying to me, Maxine, you won't be beautiful forever, and I'm like, oh, shut up, no, but no,
Yes,
we
you
don't,
will.
we no, it's all it was said in love, but what I'm saying is most like most of us, some of us are in a relationship or been in a relationship for a long time. So let's say you're in a relationship for a long time and you're unhappy and things aren't going well, you're not being fulfilled, whatever the case may be. Are you going to stay in this for the rest of the long haul and not be fully fulfilled and have your just ignite your life and your spirit and your soul? Are you going to do that? Because if so, then be ready for what you're like. Just be ready for the way that like, your life is going to be like that, right? Be prepared for that.
But go ahead. Sorry.
And but if you are, and if you're not in a relationship, if you're no longer in that relationship that was holding you back or making you do these things, what are you prepared to do in the next stage of your life? Like, what do you want, right? I know for sure that people pleasing will not be a part of my next relationship. I know for sure that I'm going to speak my truth and talk and speak what I want. I know for sure that I will have triggers. That we all have triggers, right? So there are certain things that I've come to realize in the process of learning how to not people please anymore, right? So that's pretty much it.
Before I say what I gotta say is, Kalina said I have been on that journey and still struggle to feel guilty at saying no. Colleen, yeah, that's so many people's struggle right now. Gabby saying you ladies are talking about a subject that is close to my heart. Gabby, oh, we feel you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, as a people pleaser, you have learned to recognize you're a pleaser, where it's stemming from, and how to fix it going forward. Yes, yes, and yes. And Maxine, you made a great statement earlier in terms of people staying in a flat-lined, we're going to call it what is a flat-lined relationship,
Relationship. Mm-hmm.
because we know so many women are not fortunate like myself and you to wake up and say, you know what, I'm done.
Done.
We're done, and it takes a special type of person to get up, especially if
To
you're
get
in a
up. Yeah.
long-term relationship, and say
Yeah.
that's
Because
it.
we hang on to the security, and
Exactly.
we hang on to the memories and the attachment that we have to this
Hmm.
person, to this relationship. And I was guilty of
Although
that.
it's not serving us.
Yes, I was so like I can't even tell you. I think I was interviewing somebody, and we were talking about when you're in a relationship and it's whether it's abusive or whatever the case may be. But what makes us hang on is all the attachments, that come with it. So whether it's like the family dog, or grandma has a mansion that you're gonna inherit somewhere, or like, I don't know, just this, like, and we're not really thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about other things, right? And I don't know. I just find that, if you're gonna be going, if you're in a relationship and it's at a point where you feel that you're not being fulfilled, or maybe you've been pleasing that person, and you're not really fully fulfilled,
Hmm.
like, make a decision. Be prepared to just like stay in there, and this is how it's going to be, or do something about it. I don't know, spice it
Hmm.
up.
I know.
But yeah.
But you can't spice up a relationship if it's only one-sided. Not that's number one for sure. And you mentioned someone says, it is attachment that we have on the tangible. I have a different take on why people stay in a relationship that
Okay.
doesn't serve them. My thing is, it's always, again, it's going right back to people pleasing. Is pleasing your parents, pleasing other people, because it's expected. As a woman, we're supposed to have a relationship, and we can't be without someone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's my take on it, because I
Yeah.
was more, and you mentioned earlier about taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us don't take responsibility for the journey that we're at. We're always someone else to blame. And until I start taking responsibility for staying for 20 something years with my ex and
Right.
doing this and doing it, when I start taking responsibility and stop blaming my mother or my grandmother for making me stay in this particular thing because it looked good, until I start taking it back. No, like
Yes.
seriously, when I
Yes.
started taking the blame and said, they didn't force me to stay.
No,
Because
they
the
didn't.
day I remember I said, Mommy, she open armed. But in my head, because I was scared and thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to be ashamed that,
So you
I
were
was married.
pleasing, them.
I'm pleasing everybody, pleasing the husband, the parents, the family,
Friends,
the
the
friends,
church,
everybody. No, I was not. Anyways, the minute my mother can't tell me to go to church, I didn't go to church.
No, but like, even like in the marriage, and if you're involved in the church, sometimes that
But
is.
it's true. But
Mhm,
it's true. The church,
mhm.
because the church, and you're right,
Yeah.
Maxine. The church is the number one place that people are
Mhm.
talking about. They're not going anywhere. I remember once my grandmother died, and for my business, my adult business, a couple church sisters came to me and says, "Donna, I heard that you're doing this." And we're talking some church apostolic church people who even wear soccer in dresses and skirt, right? So, we were doing my grandmother thing before her funeral, and I said, "Can I speak to you?" And they spoke to me, and I'm telling you, these women were in tears, like they're agonizing for the kind of relationship they're going through. And
Yes.
what's making them feel. So you're
Right.
right, and they couldn't leave or move away from the church because of how the church view marriage. And you're right, Maxine.
Mhm. Mhm.
How it move. Wow. And before I said it, and also you mentioned for your next relationship, going on to your next relationship, you won't be a people pleaser. We have to fix all of this before we're going to our next relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Colleen, I said I was done and spent the next year grieving my relationship had failed. See?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not necessarily relationships as in like an intimate relationship. It's anything. Like,
And you,
I have clients, I have friends, I have family members who I still can't say no to. And it's not to say that I want to be like a mean person. When I say no, I don't mean like, oh, can you go to Walmart for me? I say no, but it's just like, just making certain decisions, and even like I said with friends, um, I'm not saying that I want to say no to my friends, but what I want to say is this: if I can't show up the way that you want me to show up, if I can't do what you expect me to do, or if I can't be that friend that you want me to be, um, don't condemn me for it. Because what was happening with me was, and it wasn't to say that I didn't want to be friends with people. It was, where my energy was going and what it was doing for me, and I would still be that person, be there for that person. I would still show up for that person and go here and there and there when I didn't want to. But it's not. I didn't want to, not because I didn't want to be with them, but because my time, or just whatever circumstances. And I
mhm,
think it's very important. Like, I've had friends who I would say, can you go here with me? They say to me, no, I don't like that kind of stuff. So you can, no, I don't want to go with you. And I'll be like, okay.
You're in shock.
And I'd be like, how did they just tell me like that? But the thing is, right, I have the emotional intelligence to say, you know what? I respect that. And I learned from them, right? I literally had people who say, you know what? No, I can't. I've asked people to help me to do things like do certain ventures with me,
Mm-hmm.
or go some, and they would look at me and say, no, or they would just get back to me another. I've had people who would say, yeah, sure, Maxine, you can do a like I wanted to do a photo shoot at a friend's house, and they said no. And that, for me, if you came to me and said, Maxine, I want to do a photo shoot in your place because I like your hallway for the yoga, I would say yes, even if I didn't want you in my house.
Wow.
Yes, even if I didn't.
Yeah.
And if I woke up the morning and things weren't going well and I would never call you and say, Donna, you know what? I don't think we can do this today. Nope, I would do it because
Although you don't want to.
although I don't want to.
But how does that make your body feel though? Because you.
Oh, and that's why I would call my coach, because I would agonize and I would, think about it too much, overanalyze, and say, why do I do this? Why didn't I say no? And I have, like, right now, I have a lot of things that's happening right now that I want to say no to. There's a lot of things I'm committed to right now that I want to call the people up and say, you know what, I don't think I can do this anymore. And I can't. And my
Get a
coach keeps asking
get
me,
a personal assistant. No, now, now, and tell them, Max, don't call her. She's unavailable because if they call you, you're gonna say, it's okay, I'll do
oh,
it. So
yeah,
people
I would say yes in a heartbeat. Even though I'll call my coach and say, yeah, listen, I'll say all these things and I'll list everything. And then the person calls, I'm like, yeah, sure. What time do you need it?
You
Oh, no
see,
problem.
you have to set boundaries, man. Carol is saying there's nothing wrong with being a pleaser in a relationship if your partner always pleases you. But if it's one sided and it's not reciprocated, then there's where the problem lies. I agree with you, Carol.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's your thought on? Yeah, I agree too, Maxine.
I agree.
Yeah, Banky said we have to learn to set boundaries.
That's been a process for me. That
Yeah,
was a very difficult one for me. No boundaries.
you know, make Banky be a PA because I know she'll rule with an iron fist, right, Banky?
Let's talk,
Not
Banky.
today. Yeah, not today. Don't call her. She's busy. And it's
No, Banky knows. Banky knows because actually Banky's one of them. She says, "Did you have that talk? Did you have that talk?" I'm like, "No, I didn't."
then that's why I figured that because I know you guys worked well together, and this is where we have. You know what? I believe, to be honest, that we need a tribe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I have some good tribes behind me, and and Banky is a good tribe member.
Oh,
You
Banky's
know,
she's awesome.
yeah. So
Banky, we're giving you some free advertising here.
listen.
Banky's awesome. Follow her, please. Join Business
Yeah,
Hotel.
listen, 'cause, I know she want to bad me up sometimes too, but very gently. But I guess we're not there yet, so she's taking it easy on me. But seriously,
Yeah.
we need to have a tribe.
Yes,
You know,
we
some
do.
strong. Where I'm
Yeah.
weak, you're strong. Where you're strong, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
have that camaraderie of sisterhood.
Yeah. It's very important.
It is very
Um, and
important.
it's a huge struggle though. I mean, a lot of times, but what I find though, Donna, and this is
Hmm.
the honest truth. Because I am a people pleaser, do you know that it ruins my relationships with other people? Yes.
Explain.
Okay, so because I can't say no to some of my obligations, it takes up a lot of my time. Right. So I spend my time on the phone, um, whether I'm helping, whatever, or they want me to do something on my computer, like whatever, to create this or do whatever. I spend a lot of my time, and then I don't get my work done. And then I go to do my work. And then the people who are being neglected are like my mom, my daughter, friends who are reaching out to me who they can't reach me because I'm too busy. Because if a friend reaches out to me and it's now 8:30 and I'm like, shoot, I can't take that call right now because I need to go finish all the stuff that I didn't do because I was people pleasing earlier on. So it has affected me in so many ways. And the one that has caused the most impact on me is for my daughter, because I know that she's here, she's home. So I take that for granted by just like doing everything because she's home and it's okay, she can wait. I've done it with friends who will call me and I won't either answer the phone or I won't respond to their text message right away because I can't take that call right now because I now have to do my work, or I'm working on something that I'm doing for somebody else. And
Mm,
it's been a real heartbreaker for me because I've had some really, really, really rough patches over the last couple of weeks. And I'm being totally transparent here because I realized that I was doing way too much and neglecting a lot from myself and my family. So it's this COVID thing, like I said, it has definitely changed how I view myself and how I'm going to show up in this world and how I'm going to respond and react to anything that comes into my space.
wow. That's some powerful thing that you just said there. And before we address that, let me just read what Denise is saying. She said, "Growth
Sorry.
isn't easy. Learning to set boundaries, learning to say no, learning to take care of ourselves and put ourselves first." She said, "This shit is hard, but what a
It is.
difference it makes in her life." And it's true.
It's very
And
difficult.
it's very difficult. And I hear what you're saying. The only person my concern would be is your daughter.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my number one concern.
yeah, because I remember when I was going through my thing and at home, and because at that point I didn't know I was depressed, right?
Mm,
As you said, you're home, the children are home, so that should be enough, right? Or you take them a little, take them here and there, but we're not realizing that sometimes they actually need attention because they're
yes.
children, right? And because of that place of darkness where I was home. So to me, I'm okay, but I was locked in my room
Yeah.
and neglecting them. I'm not working, but I was just in my
Yeah.
head,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, what I love about my tribe is if I don't call them or if I didn't return their call right away, it's an understanding that we're busy.
Yes.
Nothing there is no animosity. There's just,
Yeah.
when she have time, she'll call me back.
Yeah. There's no blame. There's
There's
no
no blame.
assumptions.
But that's what
Um,
our friends are supposed to be.
yeah. I actually, now that I'm speaking, I have a friend, Lisa. If she's watching this, Lisa, I will call you. She called me about Lisa and I'm so sorry. Two friends, they called me. I don't know what it was, and messaged me on Instagram. I up till now I have not
Lisa
responded.
should soon call you, baby girl. She soon call you. I'm gonna make sure she call you right after the show.
Anyway, yeah.
Carol, listen, people know who you are and they tend to take advantage. You need to set boundaries as stated by Banky, and the moment you do, you are going to lose some people. But those
Yeah.
people who you
Sweetheart.
don't need, this will elevate you and your family, your new tribe will come. Yes, yes, and yes. Because
Absolutely.
our true tribe understands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our true tribe
Absolutely.
understand, and and I'm really happy that you're open and authentic in your journey and how you feel, because it only makes us stronger.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is actually the first time that I'm actually talking so openly about it. I have
It's me.
spoken about people pleasing
It's me.
before. Yeah,
It's
I know it's you. But it's actually quite therapeutic because it's allowing me right now to speak my mind, speak my truth, and just like own up to it and acknowledge that it's a problem, and even just to reflect on how it's affected me. I hope that this will help people. Like I posted something on my page, my Live Well with Maxine, about that and how I've had to like take responsibility for my own actions because really and truly, it's not like you meet somebody and they say to you, make sure you please me and make sure you say yes to me. That's not how the world works. But
Mm-mm.
it's our choice because we're either afraid of the person disapproving of us, we're afraid of the person not liking us or stoning us. I'm just kidding.
I know, I like that. You poor thing. We're gonna go back
Well,
to
yeah, like
everybody, Max, me and you.
yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I was walk. I said no, and all of a sudden I feel a rock stone hit my
Oh,
head and bust my head. I was like, oh, oh.
oh my, Maxine. Oh, really? I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing after your memory. 'Cause that's crazy.
I'll never forget it.
My whole family will go find his family and beat him up.
Oh, it kind of sort of happened. and the scar is still there.
Oh no! Oh jeez. Yeah,
Yeah,
we there's some
but
things that happen to us when we were kids.
but like yeah. So it's I like it. This is quite cathartic for me to talk about this with you
Hmm.
because it's something that, like I said, it's helping and it's healing. And I mean, just like all the guests I've seen on your show, and you being able to interview them in an authentic way, I think you're doing a great job because
Thank you.
it's it's allowing people to be real and be open and vulnerable. A lot of times people think that I'm, well, I shouldn't generalize, but I think for the most part people think that I put on a show or a facade, and I think there's a certain facade I have to put on for sure. My how I show up on social media is in a positive way, but it's a therapeutic way for me. It's helping me to deal with my issues because I'm not perfect.
Really?
Um, no, no. Um, I have I have my ways. Um, I have my insecurities. I have a lot of battles that I have to battle, but I still remain positive because I feel that once we continue to be positive, it definitely will make you live in that life that way. And I have removed all expectations from 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 what I want from people. And the reason why I've done that is because I was always looking for validation and approval, um, and even with that, I still I have certain insecurities that will like subconsciously I require the validation, but it's not from everybody. It's from the people who mean something to
Something
me,
to you.
right? And it's a struggle because if the people I love or who mean something to me say something like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you posting that on social media?" I'm like, sorry, but like, and then I cow down and I
Mhm.
hide because that what they said affects me. So that's another form of people pleasing that I've done too. So there's a lot that, like I said, I show up on social media. I emanate a positive attitude because this is how I'm going to get through. If not, I'll go down. And I think a lot of people would not admit that. Social media may be seen. People may judge you for being on social media for whatever, however way they want to see you, but they don't realize it can be a very therapeutic avenue for you, and it's helping you to not go down. Like people who do their lives, sometimes they're depressed, but the lives make them feel um,
Connect.
connected, right? So yeah, I mean, like I said, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I have a page called Being Maxine, and I'm telling you, that page is me being myself because I needed to take responsibility for my own self and be expressive and be positive and and help myself to heal from
Wow.
all the childhood. Now, I'm not talking about I'm just talking about
Yeah,
from the child
a
up.
baby girl. But that's it
Yeah.
though. If we heal that child within, that little girl within,
Mm-hmm.
things are going to change. And I love what you said, Maxine. You do what you do is for you and to heal
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this too. It's not everybody that meditate and do mantras and do all of these things. If they're just saying it with their mouth but don't believe it, you're not going to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people doing repetitive things and keep doing it, if you don't truly hardly believe it's going to change you, it won't change you.
It won't change
But
you.
what I love about what you're doing, Maxine, as much as people are saying, why are you posting this and why are you doing this, you're still doing it. And if
Yep.
this is the way you're going to heal, you continue doing
Oh,
it.
for
It's not
sure.
about nobody else but
No.
that person that you get up in the morning and look at in the morning in the mirror. It's all about you, and that
Mhm.
alone is such an empowering thing. You know,
Oh yeah.
I listen, I love what you do. Like when
Thank
I see you
you.
stretching and do your thing, I said, one of these days, but that's not me. So I can't be following Maxine way of healing because I'm not going to be doing that. I'll do some sort of yoga stretches and balls with pee and here in my house. My thing is speaking and throw a picture here and there. I'm not a person that goes on social media and posts every day. That's not me.
Right. Right.
At one time I was trying to live that lie and say, I'm doing it because everybody else is doing it, but it's not.
Exactly. No. If it's not you, then you don't do it.
No, I
Yeah.
don't do it. And what
Hmm.
I do works for me. and I'm fine
Yes.
with that. It's not me. Colleen is saying moments like this help empower a woman like myself to remember our worth. Thank you. See,
Yes. Absolutely.
this is
Good
therapy
to
for
hear
so
that.
many women. So thank you for sharing that, Colleen. And Gabby, best conversation I've seen in a while. Love it. Thank you
Thank
for watching,
thank
Gabby.
you. Thank you, Gabby.
Yes. Miss JC is saying, know your worth.
Yes,
It's
I agree.
true. Nobody knows your worth more than you do,
Oh, I've
or we do.
listen. You know, thank you, Jackie, for that comment because that's one of the things I've always struggled with. Is knowing my worth, and that comes with the people pleasing because I didn't think that I was worth being treated a certain way. I didn't think that I was worth you opening the car door for me. I didn't think that I was worth you spending any money on me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That, and I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's. I have no idea. I
Thanks, girl. Some things that we're struggling with.
yes. I like if you like. I'm telling you, like, and I'm talking about these are regular things that women experience or even men experience where you treated a certain way by people or whatever. And I was like, oh no, I'll get it. It's okay. I'll do it myself. I didn't think I was worthy at all, and that's the honest to God truth. I
But
didn't think so.
now you know you are.
Oh,
Oh,
I
hell,
knew my worth.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh
Get that door open for you, Maxine. And listen, we're going shopping.
yeah. Oh, I'm that's not. I'm not. There's a lot of things I'm not used to because I used to think that I didn't deserve it.
But
So
now you know
and how when people would say, well, what do you mean you didn't deserve it? Okay, so it wasn't something I expected. I would just go open the door myself. I didn't
hmm
go, well, open the door from like I didn't even think of it, right?
hmm
Simple little things. I just didn't think I deserved it. Like even being treated for Valentine's Day in a special way, like spa day, and I would never expect those things because I didn't want to expect it. And then you look at me and say, well, who do you think you are? Uh, my mind was
Our
telling me these
mind,
things.
our mind is some
Yeah.
crazy thing,
So
you know?
so we women we have to know our worth, and my worth doesn't mean it's materialistic things. My worth is being treated
How you
like
want to treat it.
yeah, because I if you're my if I'm in a relationship with you, I treat you like a king.
Uh,
I do. I'm just saying. So I need to wear my crown too.
Maxine, you're right. We have
Yeah.
to wear our crown too. Oh
Hmm.
my God, this is such an amazing night. And for those who are just joining, we're talking about people pleasing, and Maxine went way in and
Okay.
was so authentic in her journey from where she was and where she's coming through and what she has overcome. We're not saying it's easy.
No.
We would never tell you it's easy. But the minute that you make up your mind to take that step in
Hmm.
and says, you know what? I am deserving.
Absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
okay to say no lovingly without no explanation.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I'm telling you, if you're going to keep saying yes and it's making your body react to some negative, guarantee you're going to get sick.
Oh.
Because this
Oh.
is your body saying, you know what?
Absolutely.
Don't hold
Hmm.
on to this.
Hmm.
Because in life, we're supposed to be flowing. Yes, sometimes we're going to have hiccups, but the
Hmm.
minute that we know that a hiccup has happened, we have to be flowing nice and gently. And we
Yes.
have to learn to please ourselves first and
Hmm.
foremost. When we earlier on, I did an interview, and my analogy was when you're on a plane, what do they, and the plane is going down, who is the first person you have to look after? Put an oxygen mask on.
Yep.
It's
Yourself.
us.
Hmm.
If we have to look after us. We're good. We're the goddesses. We're queens. Then everything else follow forward. So Maxine, yes, you are a goddess. You're a queen. You are a woman, and every woman that's on here, you guys are
Hmm.
amazing. And it's the
Yeah.
first thing is self realization. Am I going to stay in a loveless marriage just because for what everybody else is saying or ego?
Yeah.
We have to choose our battles.
Yeah.
Gabby's saying, "See, I'm going to end soon, but I just have to put this. I'm going to throw this up there for 2 seconds." Gabby says, "I got ulcer forgetting myself and focusing on other." That's huge. My mother had ulcers too when she was,
Hmm.
like, So this is a thing that it's our body saying to us, "No, this doesn't feel good."
Yeah. Absolutely.
But we have to recognize the signs.
And I'm telling you, it took a lot of courage. It took a
It,
lot of courage,
yeah,
right?
ego.
And the thing is, there's a
Go
lot
ahead,
of people
Maxie. Go
who
ahead.
So you said we have to recognize the signs. There's a lot of women and men in relationships. They see it, but guess what? It's hard for them to make that decision because it involves change and
Change
fear.
is hard for them, and
Yeah,
fear,
change is hard
fear.
and fear. Right. So I'm not saying that all relationships needs to be ended. What I'm saying is if you are not being fulfilled in the way that you feel that you deserve to be treated and you see the relationship flatlining going forward, then you really have to make a decision,
Yeah,
right?
fix it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, before I do my final word,
Hmm.
I'm going to shout out to a couple people. Banky, number
Yes.
one, for being an amazing marketer.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
she's just, jeez,
She's
there's so much
amazing.
to say about you're just an amazing woman.
She is.
I don't know much of people on here, and I have to shout out to Carol, my sister, for supporting me in every which way, from emotionally to
Yes.
every which way. I have to give her a shout out. I talk about your tribe. Denise Lopez, I'm going to shout out to her as well. She's a new author um,
Nice.
of a children book. And so shout out to you, Denise. And I think I heard that you have another book coming out. I'm not sure if it's out yet or it's coming out, but congratulations either way.
Hmm.
Who else? I'm not sure. Oh, Natalie was on here earlier. She's
Hmm.
a coach as well, and plus she cooks Saturday and Friday meals, so which is amazing.
I'll
Chadwick
hit
was on
her up.
here. Yeah, I hit her up. But before I say my final words too, I also have a book that's coming out, and it's geared to women, and it's talked about my journey as well. It's called Heads Up, Shoulders Back, and Own Your Shit.
Ooh,
At the end of
whoa.
the day, yeah, at the end of the day, the ownership falls on us. We talked about that earlier on, Maxine.
Yes.
The ownership falls on us. As life goes on, we can't change what happened to us in the past, but we can change how we grow from it.
Mm,
We have to
absolutely.
just, yeah, we have to take those steps. We have to acknowledge
Yes, we
and
do.
have groups like this and women like this to talk,
Absolutely.
and we have to just do things that we need to get this, because we're on here for a temporary time.
Hmm.
So as much as we're here temporarily, we have to live life to the
Hmm.
fullest. And for
And
those men, go ahead, sweetie.
and
You,
COVID has changed a whole bunch of things for
it
us.
does. It has. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, it really has. It made people sit back and realize that
Hmm.
this needs to change,
It's
right?
life changing.
It is life
Everything is
changing.
life changing in so many ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Maxine, thank you for being authentic and being Maxine. I mean, to be honest, I mean, as much as I've known you for several years, I don't even think we've ever spent an hour talking before. But this, apart from laughing with a group of people, so this was really refreshing to get to know who the real, true Maxine is.
Thank you for
And
having me,
I
Donna.
appreciate you as a sister. And if you need help with it, me tell no, call me. I'll tell you no. I can tell you the difference. My nose are always nose with a smile. Girl, I can't do that. No, man, we're kind of busy right now. A lot. That's how I say no. You know what I mean? It's like, so me teach you how to do that.
I'm ready.
I said no with a smile. So, anyways, anyone
Yes.
that's watching, make comment, forward, share. Maxine has her show too on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. Being Living Well with Maxine. Talk about everything healthy. So reach out to us. Just send some love our ways. We're podcasters, and we're here to make the future brighter with our
Yes.
smile and being
Absolutely.
authentic and just speak from our heart and a place of love. So, everyone, thank you for watching Donna Savage Desires and Maxine Choi from Live Well
Well,
with
with Maxine.
Maxine. Mwah. Ciao,
Thank you,
Bellas.
Donna. Thanks for
Bye,
having me.
beautiful.
Bye bye.